Hello friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel Oracle DB online training. So today we'll be looking at Oracle Golden Gate Classic Architecture. So before we begin, I'll be requesting all the new friends to subscribe my YouTube channels. Where previously we have seen how to perform the Golden Gate installation on the Linux platform. So if you haven't watched that video, please go through this. And as we have agreed and we have so many requests are coming from the our subscribers that please make a video on Golden Gate architecture. So we have just I thought that making this video is very important for all of us. So I just prepared this session on the Golden Gate architecture. So please go to watch the entire video for a better understanding about the Golden Gate architectures. And please subscribe our YouTube channel Oracle DB online training. And if you have any queries, you can send me an email on this email IDs. And if you want personal training, please get in touch with me on these numbers. And apart from that, on this YouTube channels, you are already getting a lot of learnings like Oracle Rack installation, and there are various tutorials we have covered so far. And you can go through by playlist wise also. There are a lot of things to learn. Please watch all these different videos. And till now we have covered almost 50 videos. So please watch and subscribe our YouTube channels. Also, you can connect me on these social media platforms. Okay, so let us start today's session without wasting much of time. So if you so we'll go through the entire architecture about classic architecture of Golden Gate. And so basically we have the two different architecture for Oracle Golden Gate. One is classic architecture and other is microservices architectures. So in this tutorial we'll be just covering about classical architecture only, and microservice architecture will be looking in upcoming videos. And yeah, one more thing that I wanted to inform you guys that so previously we have installed the Oracle Golden Gate. So the replication of bidirectional replication video will be coming maybe in upcoming videos. So please stay in touch with about that video. And so let us start with today's session. Okay. And if you look at the introduction about Oracle Golden Gate, so basically Oracle Golden Gate is a software product that allows you to replicate, filter, transform the data from one database to another database. So whenever we talk about Golden Gates, it's the best advantage is that we can do the replication, filtering, and transforming of the database from any database to any other database. That's the beauty about the Oracle Golden Gate product. And if you look at Oracle Golden Gate, you can also move the committed transaction across the multiple heterogeneous system. Okay, so why do you need Oracle Golden Gate? So for suppose you have an organization where your heterogeneous databases are there, like one database is on Oracle, another database is on Microsoft SQL servers, and or even some other database which is up and running in the organization. So there is a requirement of transforming the data from one database to another database. So this is where your Golden Gate software comes into the pictures, and it does the job for you. And that's the beauty about this product. So you can use in distributed system where multiple different databases are there, and you can basically perform the replication. You can perform the loading of the data from one database to another. And then even though you can perform the filtering of the transactions. Okay, and all these operation happens in real time, and it enables the migration between the different databases with near zero downtime. So okay, so this is about Oracle Golden Gate, why we require the Oracle Golden Gate software. And coming back to the next thing, that when do you use Oracle Golden Gate? So it basically it is it it meets all the movement requirements from one database to another. So this is when we can use the Oracle Golden Gate. So basically there are multiple ways we can perform the old replications, like one to one or bidirectional replication. Or so there are basically various things you can perform through the Golden Gates. Okay, and so how do you use the Oracle Golden Gate? That's another question. So if you after the installation, Oracle Golden Gate can be configured like uh, so we'll be looking at the architectural diagram, so maybe and then you can get the better idea about this, how to perform the Oracle Golden, how to use the Oracle Golden Gate software. Okay, so let us move further, and some of the other key features before going further we can look at. So it's basically a data movement in real time and reducing the latencies. Okay, so over the network, we transfer only the committed transactions. So only committed transactions are moved, and it enables the consistency and improving the performance. Okay, so these are some of the key features, and even though different versions of the or the release of the Oracle database are supported, along with a wide range of heterogeneous databases running on the variety of the operating system. So it is like if your one of the database is running on the Linux platform and another database is running on Windows database, so Windows server, so those things were also managed through the Oracle Golden Gate. And even though Oracle Golden Gates are basically used for the various database upgradation or migration projects, so learning Oracle Golden Gate is one of the best thing you can do. And you can basically replicate data from from an Oracle database to a different heterogeneous databases. So this is another key features of Oracle Golden Gates. Okay, and its architecture and it is very easy to configure. So this is one more key points you can say about Golden Gate. And even though high performance with a minimal overhead on the underlying databases and infrastructures. Okay, so by the way, we have the two architecture that we have already discussed. So today's session will be looking at classical architecture. So let us come back to the architectural diagram, that is very important for us. And let me just get the pointer also. So so let us look at this entire diagram. So on the left side you can see the source database, and on the right side we have the target database. So if you look at the source database, so basically here the initial loads or the initial source tables will be available. And we have the extract processes, which is basically running on the source side, and optionally we can create data pump, and these are the trail files. So whatever the data which is basically getting captured, which is a committed data, that can be stored in the trail file. As an optional component, we can create a data pump, which is nothing but an extract process only, which will provide you an added advantage whenever there is a like network failure or some issue happened between the source and the target. So it is always recommended to have on a create a data pump extract process on the source side. Okay, so basically this entire architecture is divided in two different parts. One is called the initial load. So in the top you can see it is just a one-to-one mapping, like between the extract and the replicate is happened through the network. So that is come under the initial loads. And if you look at the second half of this entire diagram, so we have the extract process on the source side. And you can directly basically make the data transfer between the extract and the collector process. Or optionally you can see the dotted line, that is nothing but an optional component. So this is also an extract process, which is locally running, capturing the data from the extract and storing here, and from here it will get transferred to the collector process. Okay, and after that on the collector will basically store this data in the remote trail files. After that the replicate will be applying those changes on the target database. So basically you can say your entire architecture is divided in two segments. One is initial loads, or if you have the frequent changes based upon the configuration, you can basically perform the DML and DDL operations through the Golden Gate replication. So and yeah, very important another component, that is manager component. So it will keep on running on both the source and target, and it basically manages all other processes. And apart from that we have the network between the source as well as the target sites. and the change synchronization. So we'll be looking all these details, all these process in detail. So let us move further with the architectural diagram. So I hope you have understood I mean a little bit about this diagram. So if you have any question, you can ask me or you can send me email. I will definitely try to help you. So let us move to first component. So basically what we have discussed, it is mentioned here. So Oracle Golden Gate can be basically configured in the following purposes, like a static extraction of data records from one database to loading those records to another database, or continuous extraction or the replication. So this is basically like from one database to another database. You are doing replication, or you can basically do the continuous extraction from the source and replication for transactional DML as well as a DDL operations to keep the source and the target database consistent. And apart from that, extraction from the database and replication to file outside the database. So these are basically important components, and we'll be looking all these processes in deeper uh, understanding. So let us move further, and this is our extract process. So if you look at the extract process details, so Oracle Golden Gate extract process resides on the source system and captures the committed transactions. So the very important term, the committed transactions from the source database, that the DB logs may contain the committed as well as uncommitted data, but remember the extract process captures only the committed transaction, and it writes them to the local trail file. And it is important to note that extract captures only the committed transaction from its data source. Okay, so the extract can be configured in one of the following purposes. For like initial loads that we have seen, for the initial load method, the replication extract captures a static set of data directly from the source tables and or the objects. And another thing is change synchronization. So in this method, what happens is replication, that extract process continuously captures the DML as well as the DDL from the source database, and keeps the source and the target database in consistent state of replication. And if it is a sole method for implementation of continuous replication between the source and target. So let me go back to our diagram, so maybe you can understand it better. So basically extract can be configured either initial load, or it can be configured for the change synchronization only. Okay, so this is what it has mentioned. So initial loads as well as the change synchronization, these are the two things. Okay, so the data source of extract process could be one of the followings. So either a source table, and either a database transaction log or the recovery log. So if you're performing the initial configuration, then it is basically a source table. And if you are doing like a continuous replication, then it is basically a transactional logs and the recovery logs, from where all this dependent data will be extracted. Okay, so as the name itself suggests, extract of the data. So basically, it is capturing the only the committed data from the source side. And so let us move further. That is a continuation of extract process. So extract captures the changes from the source database based upon the extract configuration, like whether it is initial loads or it is a change synchronization. So multiple extract processes also we can configure from one source database to different target databases. Okay, so the extract will perform either following task after extracting the data record from the source database objects. So like it will deliver the data extracted from the source database to the target server trail files through the collector process. So let me just show you little bit more details, so maybe you can get it. So if you look at the diagrams, this one, if you go back to, so we were discussing about delivery of the data extract from source to target using the trail file. So if you look at this diagram, so source side we have the trail file. So extract process basically captures the details and it stores inside the trail files. This is what it has mentioned over here. So let me just zoom this, and maybe you can continue. Okay, so extraction of the data is happened, and after that it is stored inside the local trail file. So all this data is written, writes the data extracted from the source on the local trail on the source side, or it can be directly transferred to the target side, which is a collector process will be receiving on the other hand. So optionally, extract can also be configured to perform the data filtering, transforming, and as well as the mapping while capturing the data. So before transforming the data on the target system. So this is an advanced things that we can also do, filtering, transformation, and as well as a mapping while capturing the data before transferring. So let us look at the next component, that is data pump. So a data pump, basically this is an optional golden gate process that we have seen in the architectural diagram previously. So so Oracle golden gate process data pump, basically this is a secondary extract, you can say, on the source side. So whatever the data which is basically getting captured from the initial extract process, basically they are further stored inside your through the data pump setup. You can basically uh, extract them into a local trail file. So on the source system, it comes into the picture when the extracted data from the source is not directly transferred to the target trail file. So if your data is not directly getting transferred, shipped to the target trail file, so the data pump setup basically comes into the pictures. And in data pump setup, the extract process gets the record or the data from the source and keep it in the local file system by the means of local trail file. Okay, and the data pump act as a secondary extract process where it reads the record from the local trail file and deliver it to the target system trail files through the collector process. So let me go back to this diagram one more time. So if you look at this diagram, so extract process has initially configured. So if this direct mapping is not there, like between the extract and collector, so you can additionally create a data pump which will again send the data to the collector. So basically the added advantage about data pump extract is in case of network failure happens between the extract and collector, so the data capture which is captured by the your extract process, they will be basically stored in your through the data pump extract. Okay, so the data loss will not happen in this case. Okay, so this is about data pump extract. So it is always recommended to use a data pump. So it is always recommended to use the data pump as an whenever you are configuring the Oracle Golden Gate configuration. Okay, so let us move further. That is understanding about the collector process. What is its role? So collector process is a server process that basically runs on the target system in the Golden Gate replication setup, where the extract is configured for the continuous chain synchronization. So basically whenever we are configuring a chain synchronization way of replication, so on the target side we have the collector process which is running, and it will basically capture the data which is sent by the your extract process on the from the source side. So the collector has the following roles to perform in the Golden Gate replication. When the connection request is sent from the source extract, the collector process on the target system scans and map the requesting connection to the available ports and send the port details back to the manager for assignment of the requesting extract process. So the collector process, collector basically receives the data sent by the source extract process and write them to the trail file on the target system. And this trail file basically called as a remote trail files. Okay. So and there is a one collector process on the target system per one extract process on the source system, and it is one-to-one mapping between the extract and the collector process. That is very important. One-to-one mapping happens between your extract and your collector process. So next one is a replicate. Basically a replicate process runs on the target system, and it is primarily responsible for replicating the extracted data that is delivered to the target trail file by the source extract process. That means it is applying those changes from which is received on the target system. The replicate process scans the trail files on the target system and generates the ddl and dml from the trail files and finally apply them to the target system. So replicate has the following two types of configuration, which related to the type of extract being configured on the source system. So if you are performing the initial load, so the initial load configuration, the replicate can apply the static data copy which is extracted from the source side, and basically they will be target object and uh, or the route it to the high speed bulk loaded utility. Okay, so basically if you are performing for initial load, so it will be basically one to directly one to one mapping between your extract and the replicate happens. So after that we have the change synchronization. If we are configuring the change synchronization, then in change synchronization configuration, replicate basically applies the continuous stream of the data extracted from the source object to the target object using the native database interface or the ODBC drivers. So suppose you are using some other database, you can use the ODBC driver also depending on the type of the target database. So that's the thing about the replicate. So optionally replicate can also be configured to perform the data filtering transformation or mapping before applying the transaction on the target database systems. So let us move further. That is trail or the extract files. And in this segment, we will be looking extract and trail files are basically are the system file which Golden Gate used to keep the record extracted from the source objects by the extract process, and the trail files can be created on the source system and target system depending upon the Golden Gate replication setup. So basically these files resides on both source as well as the target sites, and the trail files are source systems are on the source system it is extract trails or the local trails, and on the target it is called the remote trails. So trail files are reasons why the Golden Gate is platform independence, and that's an important thing. And by using the tail, Gate minimizes the load on the source database as once the transaction log online review logs are extracted and the loaded by the extract process on the so basically it captures only the committed changes in the trail files, and it basically, even though you can perform the filtering conversion and mappings, uh, so these options are also available for the on the trail file. So use of trail files also makes the extraction and replication process independent of each others. Okay. So moving further, we have the manager process. As we all know that manager can consider as a parent process in Golden Gate replication setup, and both source and target database system manager controls, manages, and maintains the functionality of other Golden Gate process files, and manager process is responsible for following tasks like starting up a Golden Gate processes, maintaining the port number for the processes, and starting up the dynamic processes. Okay, and even though it performing the Golden Gate trail management, creating an event error threshold reports, so all these operations are basically managed by the manager process. So moving further, we have the checkpoint stores the current read write position of process to the disk for the recovery purpose, and checkpoint ensures that the data change that are marked for the synchronization actually are captured by extract and applied to the target by the replicates, and then prevent the redundant processing. And they also basically provides the fault tolerance by preventing the loss of data. Data should be suit the system, and even though in network or due to any reasons, if there is some issue happens, and basically it will make sure it will Golden Gate process automatically get so restarted, and that means through the checkpoints we can ensure that there is no fault tolerance happens. And for complex synchronization configuration, a checkpoint enables multiple extract and replicate process to read from the same set of tails. And after that we have the checkpoints basically works with inter-process acknowledgement to prevent the messages from being lost in the network, and Oracle Golden Gate has a proprietary guarantee the message delivery technology. That means it will make sure whatever the data is getting transferred from source, it will be basically getting acknowledged. So this is happened because of the checkpoints. So inter-process acknowledgements are very important, and extract creates the checkpoints for the its position in the data source and in the tail. So because extract only captures committed transaction, it keeps track of the operations in an open transaction in the event that any of the committed transactions. Okay, so this requires extract to record a checkpoint where it is currently reading the transaction logs plus position of the start of the oldest open transactions. So basically, a checkpoint is a reference point that you can say on in any Golden Gate configuration, and it makes sure data which is getting transferred, they are basically getting acknowledged. Okay, so that was about the checkpoint. Now moving further, we have the commit sequence number. That is when we are working on the Golden Gate, you might need to refer the commit sequence number. So a CSN is an identifier that Oracle Golden Gate construct to identify the transaction for the purpose of maintaining the transactional consistency and the data integrity, and it uniquely identifies a point in time in which the transaction commit to the database. So all these things we will be looking when we are doing the replication between the source and target. So how to verify the current CSN numbers, that is commit sequence numbers, all those things we'll be looking when we are doing the configuration. So don't worry about this. For theoretical understanding, this we have to go through. Okay, so this is about commit sequence numbers, and even though commit sequence number can be required to position extract in the transaction logs and to reposition the replicate in the trail or for the other purposes, and it is written by some conversion function, and it is included in the reports and certain GGSCI output. So if you will be doing some reports or GGSCI queries, so you will be getting the CSN, that is commit sequence number, in that. So it is very simply simple way to understand that when we are working with the Golden Gates, you might be referring this commit sequence number. So that is CSN. Basically, it is an identifier that a Golden Gate construct to identify the transaction for the purpose of maintaining the transaction consistency and the data integrity. That's the main purpose of commit sequence numbers. So next one is a process type. So basically, depending on the requirement, Oracle Golden Gate can be configured in the following processing type. One is an online extract or replicate process run until the stopped by the users, and online process basically maintains the recovery checkpoints in the trail so that process can be resumed after the interruptions, and you use online process to continuously extract and replicate DML as well as the DDL operations, where DDL basically are supported for a few of the replication to keep the source and database synchronization. So that is the logic, and source is a table. Basically, it is if we are mentioning a source is table, that is nothing but an initial load. So when we'll be doing the configuration, we'll be looking at initial load also, how to perform the initial load extract. So in that case, you will be able to understand process type. So as of now, you can just understand the source is table is nothing but related to initial load of the extracts of the database through source is table parameter that we have to mention while doing this configuration. And a special run replicate, that is also a part of initial load. So whenever you are doing the initial load, so on the target side you have to run your replicate as a special run, so that it will whatever the data is getting transferred from the source side, that will be basically captured and applied on the target side. So basically it is not a capture, it is directly applying those changes on the target side. So next one is remote task, is a special type of initial load process in which extract communicates directly to the replicate over the TCP IP, and neither. So all this communication happens over the TCP IP network, and neither the collector process nor temporary disk storage in initial in tail or files are used. So the task is defined in the extract parameter. So using the remote task parameter. So that this is basically about the process type. So with this, we have understood how I mean how the your Golden Gate classical architecture is all about. So if you have any queries, please get in touch with me. And thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't watched our previous video about how to perform the Golden Gate installation, please go through that video. We have performed the classical architecture, Oracle 19c Golden Gate software installation, and even we have done the some of the initial configuration. Please go through that video. And thanks for again for watching this video. Please subscribe my YouTube channel if you're new to this platform, and please get in touch with me. And if you have any queries, please send me the details. I'll definitely help you. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye bye.